Good afternoon and welcome to the USD 259 WSUTech 2122 block information session. Oh, good afternoon and welcome to the USD 259 WSUTech 2122 block information session. Thank you for joining us. This event will be recorded. A link to the recording can be found at www.usd259.org, College and Career Ready. Closed captions are available for all viewers in English, Spanish, Vietnamese, French, Afrikaans, and Swahili. Today we will discuss WSUTech's Jumpstart Block programs offered in partnership with USD 259. For next school year, the 21-22 school year. The information shared at this meeting is meant for current sophomores and juniors, and this information is also helpful for parents and teachers who support those individuals. Please share your questions in the Q&A feature of this meeting. My name is Laura Barker, and I work in the College and Career Ready office for the Wichita Public Schools. Our office is dedicated to helping our students make plans and then find ways to develop, meet those plans. And one of the ways that we do that is through our individual plans of study and using the Zello system. So we push kids to come up with individual plans of study. We understand that every kid doesn't have a specific pathway or direct pathway, so we look at providing opportunities and different ways for students to reach different paths. And one way that we think is an amazing opportunity for our students is our partnership with WSUTech through the Excel in CTE program. This program offers free tuition to high school students to get a jump start on their college programs. And this is a wonderful opportunity if you're planning to go to WSUTech when you complete graduation, if you're trying to get some technical skills or some certificates under your belt to help jumpstart your college career, or if you're planning on going directly into work after high school and you need those skills. So Jenna Roth with WSUTech is going to speak with us specifically about the programs that WSUTech offers and what it would take for you to get involved in those programs.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jenna Roth. I'm Dean of High School Partnerships and Community Outreach at WSUTech. And so as we go through today, just so you're all aware, you can put questions in the Q&A. I will talk about the programs first, and then I'll talk through the enrollment process, so how to get into those classes and the steps that are necessary to take. All right. So if you want to wait to save your questions at the end, you can do that. Or Ashton is here with me. She is our lead high school advisor here at WSUTech, and she'll be able to answer a lot of those questions as well. So kind of getting started, we have 4 campuses that classes are offered, and they're really program specific. So we have what's called our NCAT campus, and that's our National Center for Aviation Training, where we house a lot of aviation manufacturing. The WSU South campus has a broad range of general education classes, and our police science program, our interior design program, business are through there. Our City Center campus has our skilled trades program, some of our aviation programs, our IT program, so it's a pretty wide variety offered there. And then our Old Town campus is specific to healthcare. So as you're going through and we're looking at these and you're thinking about the different programs that you're considering, those will be, again, specific to your different campuses. So at the North Campus, that's where we offer aviation maintenance technology. When you think about this program, think about students who are wanting to work on airplane engines, working on the exterior of planes, the interior. You really become a jack of all trades with large engines. So we do have students who go the aviation route and will work on planes, but we also have students who go research and design and will go on to become engineers, or we have students who will take this and go and work for places like Garmin or General Electric, where they have large engines that they work with there as well. So it's a pretty wide range of skills you learn in the program and can take with you. CATIA is it's a 3D imaging program software that's heavily utilized in engineering. So a lot of our students, this is part of the CATIA block is part of our engineering degree at WSUTech. If that is a route that you're interested in taking as the 4-year route or institution, then this will be a good start point and springboard for you into that degree path. Some of our students do go on for 4-year degrees. Some of our students will just do the 2-year associate degree, and then that will give them a career path as a drafter or designer in the industry. Machining technology, you're learning how to work with metal and different types of like manufacturing materials, and you're learning how to cut out of those and shape those into different objects. So think of screws and nuts or larger machine parts of cars. Those are all machined out of metal, cut and drilled, and we take care of that. Our robotics program is it teaches the kind of the practical side of robotics. So you're learning about robots, you're learning how to take care of them, you're learning how to program them as well. So it's a pretty broad range of programming as well as care of robots. Our city center campus is our next location. Just pulling everything up just to make sure everyone's good to go. So our city center campus is where we have a lot of those skill traits. So when I say alternative fuels and advanced electronics, think of like Tesla, think of e-cars, think of electronic cars, hybrid cars, cars that run on compressed natural gas, hydrogen vehicles. All of those are what students are learning in this program. So there aren't a lot of programs across the country that offer this type of programming, but this would be a good opportunity for you on that side of it. The sheet metal program, or the automotive service program, sorry, auto service technology is what you would think of as we're a Mopar school. So students have the opportunity to work on cars from local dealerships here in the Wichita area. They'll bring them to campus. So you'll get to work on some of the latest models that are out there, as well as some older models. We do also allow students to work on their own vehicles on Fridays if you're all caught up with your work. So that is a big piece of the program, is just you have the book work that you'll do to understand the vehicle, and then you get to go in and you get to actually work on different types. And you'll do everything from brakes and alignment to engine repair to working on the computer systems of vehicles and the like the HVAC of a car as well. Our next one is sheet metal and composites. These are each separate certifications. So sheet metal is 1 semester, composites is 1 semester. And this is really a good program to get you a jump start into aviation manufacturing in the Wichita area. Kind of the bare necessity of what you would need to get hired on with a lot of our local manufacturers that deal in these areas. So half of the class you're learning about airplanes and all the different components of them and the safety of them. And then the other half you're in there working on sheet metal, learning how to manufacture those different pieces and parts. So construction science is all about learning how to frame and finish a home or industrial building. So they're getting more into cold steel forming, a lot of those pieces too. So you get both the residential and the industrial side as you move through our program. And it's all about building. So climate and energy control technologies, often people think of it as HVAC, so heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. In this program, it's learning how to work on and install and repair air conditioning systems, heating systems, and the ventilation that goes with both of them. So this could be residential, this could be industrial, you get both sides of it. If you do our full associates in this program, you actually will be able to finish the program not as an apprentice, but as a journeyman, which is you're considered an advanced individual in the industry. So you get to start out at a higher pay and just have more opportunities opened up for you on that side of it. So it's a pretty neat opportunity within that program. Cybersecurity and information technology systems, those both have to do with the building and maintenance of a computer system, as well as the security systems within them, and the like networks and servers that may be involved in setting up kind of a working computer system for an industry like a college or a school. Cybersecurity also adds in components of what you would think of as just database security and information security. So you get to learn some basic hacking skills, and you'll do a lot on the side of learning how to keep your networks and server systems secure and the information within them secure. So that program is a two-year rotation on that side. The last one is our welding program. It is a very popular program, I will say that. So if you're interested in welding, it is definitely still a big commitment for students. We teach in the program, we teach gas metal arc welding, gas tungsten arc welding, and shielded metal arc welding, as well as the flux cord. So what that really means is if you're familiar with the terminology, that's MIG, TIG, and stick, as well as the flux cord. And we also teach oxyacetylene cutting. So you're learning how to work with metal and use fire and heat to cut and meld different metallic objects together. It is a 2-year program to get through the full program. And it does take a strong level of commitment for anyone interested in it. All right, our WSU South campus. This is where we have our business administration program, which it is an online program. So that's something to be aware of. That's completely online, not in person. There are some options for in-person classes, but majority are online. Police science. This is a great program for students who are interested in getting a degree in criminal justice. We do have a strong pathway to WSU for students that are interested in a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. You can get pretty much your first 2 years here completely taken care of in that program. The police science program is a program that is very hands-on for students, but there is also still a lot of reading and a lot of book work that needs to be done, because you'll do it no matter which route you go, whether you're going into law or whether you're going into law enforcement. There's a lot of writing and reading that is involved as you do reports and things of that nature. So that's, I think, a shock to students a lot of times when they get in the program. So please be aware that that program does have a lot of reading and a lot of writing involved in it. There are a lot of hands-on components too, but you have to kind of get through the book pieces of it to get to the fun pieces of it. I almost said funner. The interior design program is our next program on the docket. When you think of interior design, I often say it's both beautiful and functional. So it's not just the ability to make a space look really pretty and coordinated, but it's also to make sure that the space serves the purpose that it was created for. So I use my bathroom in my first house that I had. There was no outlet in the bathroom. And it's because it was an older home, but that's not a good design structure when you think of a bathroom, because you want to be able to plug in your curling iron or your hair or your blow dryer, or even your cell phone if you want to listen to music or whatever it might be. So interior designers learn a lot. They learn the history of design, and then they'll go through and you'll begin to get to do your own build your own portfolio in the process. So it is labor intensive because creating and designing is always it takes a lot of a person to get that done. So I always want students to know it's more than just learning how to pick and match colors. It's also learning about how to draw in AutoCAD and do drafting, because you have to be able to read blueprints and design blueprints as you work with builders and architects to finish a home or an industrial building. Our hospitality and events management program is still getting off the ground. This is its first semester this semester. And so a lot of what you're learning in there is the food safety, and then really like the budgeting and the ordering and what it takes to make a business or an event run smoothly in the background, which isn't always necessarily pretty and fun, but it's very necessary and very important if you want to ever be able to host large events. So they go through a lot of that in the program. And then our last one is more just to kind of a mention. We do have an EMT program. It's not part of the block, but if students are interested, you can do that program on your own time. So just be aware of that. Our last program is our Old Town campus, and it's where we have our healthcare program. So within the healthcare block, there's the certified nurse aide, medical terminology class, the pharmacology class, emergency preparedness, and diseases, disorders, and diagnostic procedures. We actually flipped it up a little bit and added in a phlebotomy class and took out pharmacology to make it a little bit more fun in the coming year. So when you get through the program, not only will you have transferable general education classes towards degrees in health, like medical terminology, but you'll also have 2 certifications under your belt, both in phlebotomy, which just allows students to work in lab spaces. You can work at like a plasma center and draw blood. And then our certified nurse aide, which will allow you to work in long-term care facilities for the elderly or impaired. And then it'll also allow you, once you turn 18, to work in hospital settings as well on the floor. So a lot of opportunity. Those are great catalysts for anyone interested in healthcare to be able to try out healthcare, see if you really like it. Some students get into the program and realize they don't really like people that much, at least not so much to see them naked every day or to have to touch them or deal with their blood or whatever it might be. So those are really important things to find out. This is a great opportunity to be able to do so. Additional programs that we offer at our Old Town campus include our practical nursing programs. It's a PN program or an LPN program, and then our surgical technology program. So students interested maybe in going into the surgical world, but don't necessarily want to have to do the 15 plus years to be a surgeon. We have the opportunity to do the 2-year program in surgical technology with us as well. So those are ones that you can't do until you are 18 years of age, but they're available to students at that point. Just so you're all aware, we do have general education classes out there too. A lot of these are offered at your high school. So as you're talking and planning with your school counselors, ask them what dual credit classes they have at the high school that you can enroll in to kind of further your educational journey too. The general education classes are not free like a lot of the block classes. They are $75 a credit hour. So always something to be aware of with that. The next little piece to kind of know about and be aware of is for books. Books are a big cost for students in these programs because the tuition is free for most of the programs, but books are not free, which means that is a piece that you'll work out with your district. And I think Ms. Barker will probably talk to that a little bit more as we go through, or if people have questions to let us know. And I will cover the costs here in a minute too, just so everyone can see those as we move forward. Laura, do you actually want to speak to this now, or would you like to wait?
No, I think this is great. We'll go with your slide. So as Jenna has here that the books are provided, we actually purchase the books. We actually purchase the books as a district, and then we rent them out to you for 20% of the cost of the book. So that process is that we actually we order the books, we have some in stock, we package them up, and we give them to you with an invoice that shows what that 20% rental fee is. We also give that invoice to the bookkeeper at each of your individual high schools, and they will add it to your student account. And then you have that goes on as an obligation, so you will have to take care of that before the end of the school year. And then you return the books to us and the 20% stays there. If the books are not returned to us, then that 20% becomes the 100% cost, which is also indicated on the invoice that you will receive. Where do I get my books? Because of this year, we delivered the books to you at your WSUTech campuses. We've also delivered them at the high school campuses. So we will get the books to you. Exactly when or where we'll get them to you is not exactly worked out yet, but we will get you the books and have them ready. Now, if there's an access code or an online code or something like that, and I think Jenna will get into more details on that in a minute, but that is something that you go on and you purchase on your own. We only rent to you the physical books themselves.
Right. Thank you, Laura. Okay. So our next steps will be about the application process, but before we get there, I'm actually going to share a different screen. Okay. Can you all see that screen? The block screen? Okay.
Yes, we can, Jenna.
Thank you. So on here is, this is actually what's available at your schools. They'll have copies of this. This is also on our website, and I will show you where this is at so you can access it as well. But this here talks about each of our blocks, where they're located, the time of day that they're offered. And then I did notice in the chat that there's some, or the Q&A, that there's some questions about how long the program is and things of that nature. So as we go down, I'll kind of pop down there first and just give you an example. So alternative fuels and advanced electronics. This will tell me that this class is at the City Center campus, which is right by East High School. And then it's offered either 8 to 11 or noon to 3. If it's a specific semester that they have to take, I've noted that on that first page, but the then I'll show you right here. It has the block program length is 2 years. Down here, what I do is give a description of each of our programs. So it tells you a little bit more about the program itself. So if you wanted to see some more on it, it's available here. We also have tour videos available on our website for students if you want to learn more about a certain program, or you just want to see what the campus looks like, or go through one of those virtual tours, you can do that there too. But they are listed on here for that. Now, there are some programs that are not completely free. So for climate and energy controls, for example, there is one class that you do have to pay for. It's not extremely expensive, but it does have a cost associated with it. So as you're going through, we'll make sure to tell you as you enroll, like this is a class that will have a cost associated. This is when you'll have to pay for it, those types of things. So that is all available for you via this right here. On page 2 of this document, it actually has the steps to enroll. So you all have Zello. We use My Next Move, but you all have Zello to be able to kind of talk a little bit about maybe a program that would be good for you based upon some of your program interest inventories. Once you've decided either a program, whether it be because you've talked with your parents, your counselor, or you've done your own research, the next step will be to apply online. You can already go and apply. It's free to apply to the college. If you've ever taken a dual credit class for any reason, for a science class or psychology, or maybe you already did a welding class with us, you don't have to apply again. That will already be done. But if you have never applied to WSUTech, this will be step 1 for you, and that can already be completed. Okay, so step 1, apply online. Step 2 will be to just meet with your counselors to make sure that you have availability in your schedule. You've passed all your classes, you have the space in your schedule for the elective credits as part of the program. If you have failed a lot of classes, I definitely recommend talking with your counselor about whether or not you're on track to graduate and can participate in the program. But that's a big piece of it. Once that's taken care of, on March 1st, we will release the block enrollment form on your student account. So that's where the application comes into play as a very important piece. Okay, so on here, this is where you'll go to apply to WSUTech. So as you go, you'll go to wsutech.edu, and these are all on the steps that you'll be able to find, and I'll make sure to link all this information for you. Under admissions, you just click apply now. Once you do that, it's going to ask you to create your account. So you'll go through, you'll create your account, and then once you create your account, you actually have to go and click on complete an application. So if I have my fake account here. Yours will be real. You'll come down to you'll scroll down on this page, and what you're going to do is you're actually going to click on start an application, or if you've started an application, you'll click on complete an application, and you do have to click on the words. Once you have all 3 of these boxes checked, then your application has been fully submitted to WSUTech. You have fully applied. At that point, you're going to get an email from us, and that email will give you the instructions on how to log into your student account. So up here at the very top of the page is your My WSUTech account, and your counselors will have this information too. But at the top of the page is your My WSUTech account. When you click on that, you'll log in here with whatever username and password that we generate for you, which will be in that email for you. So it's really important that you look for an email from admissions@wsutech.edu. Once you get in here, on the left-hand side, you just go to prospective student. And on March 1st, we'll release a form that is called the Block Jumpstart Enrollment Form, and you'll submit that form to be able to apply to the program. So there are quite a few steps on that side of it. once you've submitted, it isn't a guarantee that you'll be in the program. Your counselor still has to sign off on the fact that you are able and qualified to take part. So you have at least a 2.5 GPA and you're on track to graduate. Or sorry, 2.0 GPA and you're on track to graduate. Those are very important pieces to have in place as we move forward in this. So those are kind of the basic pieces of it. That's the process for enrollment. You create an account, you apply online, and you submit your enrollment form. And then you have done your piece of it to get started with it. And we will be in contact with you. Some of the programs do require testing for like math or reading or writing. If that's the case, we'll be in contact with you to let you know that you need to submit scores for that as well. Okay. It's very important as we go through this all that you stay in contact with us, that you respond to our phone calls or our emails. And so make sure that you're using an email when you apply that you actually check and have access to. All righty. That's all I have, Laura, on my end.
Okay, thank you, Jenna. And thank you, Ashton. She's gotten all kinds of questions going in the chat. I really appreciate that. I just have a few things to add. So Jenna referred to the textbooks and we talked about that. The Wichita Public Schools or USD 259 will provide transportation to and from your base high school. So basically you get to high school and then we have buses that leave anywhere from 7:30 to like 7:40 in the mornings to get you to the different WSUTech campuses on time. And then the morning block, so you would be in a block program, and the morning blocks go from 8 to 11 and the afternoon blocks are from noon to 3. And so we do have transportation to and from your high schools. It's something that you do need to make sure that you coordinate with your high school counselor. Right now on the screen you can see who is the contact at each of the high schools. Oh, Mr. Dickman's name looks a little funny on there. But those individuals are who, in addition to the steps that Jenna just spoke about signing up for WSUTech, you need to make sure that each of these counselors is aware. As Jenna referenced, they will sign off on that, and then they also need to make sure that they're looking at your schedule and making sure that you are going to be on track to graduate, as well as put these classes in there.
Laura?
Yes?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I don't think I'm seeing the high school contacts on our screen. Can you reshare that?
I will. Are you seeing it now?
I can see it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, great. So these are the people. Make sure that in addition to applying, and if you apply and go through all the steps that Jenna spoke about on March 1st, but your high school counselor has no idea that you've gone through this could knock you to the bottom of the list. And so we've got to make sure that you've done everything in addition to making sure that your high school counselor is aware and has signed off on this. I just also like to remind students these are college level classes. So we spoke about your individual plans of study and what your path is and what's right for you. You also know your skills and your maturity level and where you're at. So there's a lot of responsibility for you to get on the bus. There's a lot of responsibility for you to make sure that you have the correct books for the class. When classes are at USD 259 are not in session, but classes are in session at WSUTech, it's your responsibility to get you there. You don't just miss college class because your high school doesn't have class, and vice versa. Sometimes there's days that we have school that WSUTech doesn't have school. So this is an amazing opportunity for you to get a jump start, but it is a college class. These are college professors. They are not holding your hand. They're not going to remind you and give you 10 attempts to get a late assignment in. The expectations are that you are a college student once you enter the program. I do encourage you, Jenna put on there and all of the different majors, and so I would encourage you to go back into Zello and to look up those majors and look at the different career paths. I saw tons of questions for Ashton, and there is, if I want to be a surgeon, what would be the best thing that I take? Now, probably there's not a whole lot of surgeons that are also CNAs, but when you're going into your junior year of high school and you want to be a surgeon, and you're choosing between elective classes and a healthcare class, any sort of healthcare is going to benefit you. So if there is an opportunity for you to become a CNA or to become a surgeon, those skills and knowledge that you have obtained, maybe they're not going to be direct credits that can go into the college that you're going into, but those skills and education tied together are a huge benefit for you. So don't only look at this as the credits that you're going to get on your pathway, but also the skills that you're going to obtain and the education that you're going to learn to get to your career goals. And I think that, go ahead.
Sorry, I do still have to cover the program costs at the very end too. And I will add in to what Laura said. If you're interested in healthcare, a lot of healthcare programs from physical therapy to pre-med require patient care contact experience or are really looking for it. What that means is you have to have worked in the industry and not just volunteered. So a great way to do that is as a phlebotomist or as a CNA. It'll provide a lot of opportunity to be exposed to the environment, to get used to the lingo. All of those things will benefit you as you move into your medical programs, whatever they may be. Going back to the book costs, I do apologize. That was one area I skipped. Here at the bottom of that block flyer, the very last page, it does talk about program costs. So when you are on here and looking at this, there are several programs that don't have any cost whatsoever associated. But then programs like Alternative Fuels has a $240 book. Anywhere that you see the 240, so alt fuels and automotive, climate and energy, those are all access code books that are required. So those are all, the 240 is something that you will have to pay, but it's a one-time fee. So it'll get you through the full 2-year program, but you do have to pay it up front. So if you know that that's a program that you want to go into, that's a career path that you want, then I highly recommend you start saving now so that you have that money come August to buy your book. But that is an access code one that will be your responsibility. AMT and the AMT program here, those ones will be ones that will be through your school, like there are actual books for that program. The same is true for the computer support specialist side of it as well. So some of these are digital access codes and some of them are not. And as you go through, if you have more questions specific, you are more than welcome to reach out to myself and to Ashton, and we can help address some of those questions as you move forward too. So just kind of be aware of that. Okay. For those of you that are really interested in a 4-year degree, if it's something of that nature, you can always set up individual advising appointments with us too, and we can help you through a plan of study that will help you transition from high school to a 2-year program to a 4-year program, or we can help you just kind of lay out a plan of study that will let you be flexible on how you go about your educational goals. So that is also available. You could just contact us directly and we'll help you with that.
I think we can go ahead and move to any other questions that that Ashton hasn't had answered. I think Jen and I have covered pretty much everything that we were wanting to make sure that we covered today. So Ashton, is there any repeating questions that you want to make sure that we address with the group? Or
so I've seen quite a few about if you've completed an application but did not receive an email from us. First step there is to just go check your spam folder. Sometimes our stuff gets sent to your spam folder, especially if it's a district email. And then if you're still not able to find that login information, you can contact WSUTech, you can contact Jen or I, and we can go and look and see if there's been any issues with your application and help you get that login. A couple other things that just kind of have been a few questions about if you can take summer classes. So our classes are summer, fall, and spring. What we're talking about right now is more specifically those block classes that you take during the school year. But if you're interested in taking classes over the summer, that is definitely an option as well. And I think those are kind of the main ones I've had that keep repeating. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we'll give a few more minutes for people to go ahead and with any additional questions and kind of answer them in the chat, or if Ashton, you want to answer them out loud, that would be fine too. But we still got questions coming in, so we'll just kind of take a minute to answer those.
So I am getting a few about books specifically. Jenna, are you able to reshare that screen? That might help answer some of these. And then Laura, if you're able to kind of talk about how the books work through the school district one more time to kind of cover that part again.
Sure. So we will, once you are actually enrolled with WSUTech and you are given a schedule, we will then go in and identify what books are required for your classes that semester, and we will order the books that are needed. Once we do that, we will package them up and have them ready for you for the start of the semester. With that package of books is an invoice, and that invoice shows what your cost is, the 20%. And I think that 20% ranges, I mean, anywhere from $56 to maybe like $120 and then you can look here at the cost. So if you were in the, let me see, I'm moving this here. Let's say that you were doing the allied health and the cost is $276. So we can go ahead and get a 20% cost on that. And so you could know about how much you were going to have to pay for that. But if it's the access code, which Jenna was speaking of, we do not buy those. Now we do put something in the invoice, just a reminder to you that an access code is also required for this class and that you need to purchase that on your own. So the access codes are required up front before the classes start. The rental fees, or the 20% cost that we're speaking of, is added to your student account at your high school. So you really can make payments on that. You really have until the end of the year to pay that off. But if you pay that 20% and then you do not return the books to us, that it becomes the 100% cost, which is also indicated on the invoice.
Just a couple things that we often find from students that I think is important to address. When you enroll in a class here, you're taking a seat from another student. A lot of our programs fill completely. So if you're doing this because it's a way to get out of school for half a day and you think it'll be easy, I will tell you that it's not the case. We're setting you up to be a professional so that a lot of our students get jobs before they graduate in their programs or right after they graduate their programs, and they're in their industry. You know, we have students like in the AMT program, when they finish just that first their airframe license piece of it, that can get a job making $21 an hour, or in welding who can get a job making $25 an hour. So it's really important that if you're taking these classes, it's not just to mess around and get that time off. It does require a high level of commitment from you to do the work and to balance the schedule, because you still have half a day of high school classes probably, and you'll have half a day with us. And we do give you plenty of time to be able to work through assignments and do those types of things. There's not an extensive amount of homework outside of the classroom, but you also have a lot of freedom when you're here. So they treat you like a college student, which means if you don't want to do the work while you're in class, the teacher's not going to stand over your shoulder and force you to do it. And in which case you're going to fail the class on the college side and have that on your transcript, and you're going to fail the class on the high school side and have that on your transcript. So it hits you doubly, and that college transcript stays with you forever. So that's an important piece to remember.
Okay, well, I think to finish up here, I'm going to share the contacts at each of the individual high schools again. At East High, Kim Gonzalez. Cami Kennedy is their new college and career coordinator, and Cami will actually be your contact for East High. So I put Kim Gonzalez on there because I wasn't sure about the transition yet, but I've been informed that Cami is ready to go, and so Cami Kennedy is going to be your contact at East High. So complete the application, contact your high school counselor. My name's Laura Barker. You can find my information there too, and I'm kind of the contact for each of your high school contacts. But any questions that you have for myself or Jenna or Ashton, we're all available to make this work. And we thank you for your time. And a special thanks to Thelma for producing our video today, and Ashton and Allie for helping with questions. Thank you. Have a good day.